Calcium. Basic properties and interesting facts. Informative about science and medicine. Prepared by the editors of website netboleznim.ru. Basic information about calcium. Calcium is a chemical element called calcium in Latin. Atomic number 20. Atomic mass 40. Electronic configuration argon 4s2. Atomic radius 197 pm. Oxidation states 2, melting point 838 degrees, boiling point 1483 degrees, chemical element of second group and the fourth period. What is the name of calcium in different language? Calcium in Russian, Gai in Chinese, calcium in Hindi, calcio in Italian, calcio in Spanish, calcium in French, calcium in German, calcium in English. All know isotopes of calcium from calcium 34 to calcium 58. Calcium has many isotopes, many of which are radioactive and obtained artificially. 5 isotopes are stable and found in nature. Calcium 40 is the most abundant isotope of calcium. Its abundance from total calcium is 96%. The longest lived radioactive isotopes of calcium is calcium 48, which has a half-life of 6.4 billion years. But many radioactive calcium isotopes have half-lives of less than 1 second. Isotopic abundance of calcium. As we said earlier, calcium 40 is the most common, 96%. Calcium 42, the content of which is less than 1%. Calcium 43 less than 1%. Calcium 44 2%. Calcium 46 less than 1%. Calcium 48, the content of which is less than 1%, is a naturally occurring radioactive isotope of calcium. What does a calcium atom contain? If we take calcium 40 as an example, when it contains 20 neutrons, 20 protons, 20 electrons, but depending on the calcium isotopes, the number of neutrons might differ, but the numbers of protons or electrons is always the same, only if calcium is not ionized. 20 electrons and 20 protons if the calcium atom is at rest. How many calcium atoms can fit between the Earth and the Moon? The distance from the Earth's surface to the Moon's surface is 384,467 kilometers. If at this distance place the calcium atoms along the line, considering that the diameter of one calcium atom is 394 pm, then along this line a chain of 975 millions of billion calcium atoms will obtain it. This is a lot. If entire amount is taken into account in mass, then this is less than 1 milligram of calcium. Who discovered and studied calcium? In 1787, Antoine Laurent Lavoisier suggested that the lime is an oxide of certain fundamental chemical element, but in 1808 Henry Davy was the first to isolate calcium by electrolysis. Both scientists are pioneers of calcium. One is of French origin, the other is of English origin. What minerals contain calcium? Calcium has many minerals in nature: tahydrite, lime nitrate, anhydrite, gypsum, glauberite, comandlite, scheelite, alstonite, uranotalite, pandermit, wolstanite, hegengergit, apatit, sfabit, fosforit, romit, levisit, gindergit, axit, calcit, uvarovit, leucofan, lautarit, datolit, microlit. How is calcium absorbed in the human body? It all starts with cholesterol, which, under the influence of ultraviolet rays, passes into provitamin D. Through isomerization, it passes into vitamin B3. Calcividiol is obtained in the liver, and then calcitriol. How much calcium does a person need? Everyone needs 1 gram of calcium per day, 7 grams per week, 30 grams per month, 360 grams per year, and 36.5 kilograms per 100 years. How much calcium does all of humanity need per year? If one person needs 1 gram of calcium a day, then the entire population of a year, which is 7.8 billion people, needs 700,800 tons of calcium a day. This amount reaches 2.8 million tons of calcium per year. This is approximately 30% of weight of the Cheops pyramid. Calcium levels in various organisms. A human contains about 1 kg to 1.5 kg of calcium. This is approximately 1.5% calcium. Cattle are also 1.5% calcium, but some marine organisms may contain more calcium. For example, corals that contain up to 20% calcium. Other interesting organisms that are high in calcium are echinoderms, similar to hedgehogs. These organisms contain up to 45% calcium. How much calcium is in all humans combined? The entire population of a year is just under 8 billion people. Each person contains on average 1 to 1.5 kilograms of calcium. All humans have approximately 9.4 million tons of calcium. This is about 94,000 vegans. How much calcium is in seawater? Seawater contains a colossal amount of calcium in the form of salts, 0.04%. This is 540 millions tons, approximately 2 times the mass of Halley's Comet. Calcium content in the Earth's crust. Calcium is one of the most common chemical elements in the Earth's crust, and the Earth's crust is the surface layer of the Earth. which weighed 28 billions tons. Of this mass, 3% is calcium, 910 millions of billion tons. What can be made from 910 millions of billions tons of calcium from the Earth's crust? Take for example the Great Wall of China, which weighed approximately 558 million tons, and we extend this wall using calcium from the Earth's crust. We get 44,000 holes to Pluto. However, if you swing the nearest star, then the amount of calcium can be used to build 8 holes. Nevertheless, before the star Vega, you can build 1 hole. In theory, of course. Calcium content in the universe. The formation of calcium in the universe is associated with nuclear reaction with stars. This 0.05% of a star's weight is converted to calcium at its death. For example, when the Sun disappears in the future, it will produce such an amount of calcium which is greater than the mass of Saturn. What processes are regulated by calcium in the human body? Cell membrane permeability, neuromuscular excitability, heartbeat, blood clotting, blood cholesterol and fat levels, metabolism of fat, carbohydrates, proteins, iron, and apoptosis mechanism. Source of calcium: plant-based products. Most of the calcium is found in dried basil, 2 grams of calcium per 100 grams. Mint, sage and dried mint, 1.4 grams of calcium per 100 grams. Cinnamon, 1.2 grams of calcium per 100 grams. Dried parsley, 1 gram calcium per 100 grams. Seaweed, nettle, boiled spinach, sweet almonds, dried figs, Brazil nuts, dandelions, pistachios, boiled red beans, dried dates, walnuts. Calcium content in animal products. Parmesan cheese contains 1.3 grams of calcium per 100 grams, Swiss cheese 1.2 grams of calcium per 100 grams, cheese, sardine and oils, mackerel, dry cheese, egg yolk, skim milk, boiled egg. How is calcium deficiency manifested? Calcium deficiency in the body manifests itself in different ways, depending on many factors, including age. In children, it manifests itself under the guise of rickets, and in adults under the guise of osteoporosis and osteomalacia. Possible causes of excess calcium in the body. Hypercalcemia manifests itself due to increased leaching of calcium from bone tissue. Decreased absorption of calcium by bone tissue. Decreasing calcium excretion in the kidneys. Increased absorption of calcium in the intestine. A combination of all of above reasons. What organs are affected by excess calcium? Hypercalcemia affects process at the level of the skin, at the level of central nervous system, at the level of the kidneys, at the level of a neuromuscular system, at the level of the eyes, at the level of a cardiovascular system, at the level of a digestive organs. In what areas are calcium minerals used? For example, gypsum is used in the construction business, in medicine, in the pulp and paper industry, in chemical industry. Calcite in construction and in the chemical industry. Apatite for the production of phosphorus, phosphoric acid and phosphoric fertilizer. Scheelite for the production of tungsten and its compounds. Commandite to obtain molybdenum and its compounds. Calcium content in different parts of the body. Blood contains about 1% of all calcium in the body, and bones contain about 99% of all calcium. What minerals and vitamins contribute to calcium absorption? Vitamin K1, silicon, vitamin D3, magnesium contribute to absorption of calcium in the body. What minerals and substances contribute to the release of calcium? Such minerals and chemicals facilitate the release of calcium from the body. Phosphorus, magnesium, sodium, caffeine. That's all. Thank you for your attention. This material was prepared based on the site netbolezny.ru. Subscribe to your channel. Thank you. Bye bye.